Well, Mike, it really comes down to defending their turf. These neighbors are taking pictures, taking names, and it's taking criminals off the streets. You've actually been cited twice by Georgia Department of Natural Resources?
I want to ask y'all to leave now because you're on private property.
Sir, do you have any comment? Did you pay a $25,000 fine for oil dumping?
¿Se vende alcohol sin permiso? ¿Se vende alcohol sin permiso? ¿Usted tiene un permiso para alcohol?
Yes.
¿Puede verlo?
So we were confronting owners and the people selling alcohol to find out if you had cleaned up your act. This is going to be one of the hottest acts tomorrow night at the BET Awards. Yo-Yo on stage with some of the divas of the industry. This woman, one of the pioneers of West Coast rap.
Yes.
What's it going to be like to get on stage tomorrow night?
It's going to be wonderful.
This is where the tornado touched down just before it hopscotched across those tracks to the cotton mill lots. You can see shards of wood, mangled metal, downed lines, and even an entire air duct ripped out from a house. The next step for these residents, obviously, the huge cleanup ahead, which is going to take days, if not weeks. Consider this a preview to the emotional debate guaranteed to erupt when the Senate returns from a week-long Memorial Day holiday, time that groups like this hope is enough to sway senators' opinions.
All right, cool, check it out. Can you see my skull stocking still?
We were unable to get any comment from the boat rental company, but Forsyth County Sheriff's tonight telling us the boat was fully equipped with life jackets, but no one on board was wearing one.
Woo!
Yeah! What? Get her a contract. She is set. That is excellent.
There was a distinct shift in the mood on campus from the numb shock of yesterday. One student actually said if you didn't know what had happened, you might have thought that there was a big game today because thousands wore their Virginia Tech sweatshirts, school colors. It was a sign of solidarity and a sign that Hokie spirit will not be broken. Hope flickers with every candle, a vigil on campus to illuminate the memory of those who lost their lives in Monday's massacre.
So traumatic that it's really easy to empathize and just try to imagine like that so could have been my friends and me.
Investigators are now learning more about the gunman, Cho Sung-Wee. Cho was a senior English major here at Virginia Tech. Students described the 23-year-old South Korean native as a loner who had written violent and obscene screenplays for a creative writing class. His work set off red flags. A professor was so concerned he referred Cho to a school counselor. One of the most hopeful comments I overheard today was at the candlelight vigil. A little boy looked up at a teenager and said, "Are you a senior in high school?" And he answered, "Yes, I am. And this is where I want to go to college next year." Whether they shouted in Spanish or in English,
go home and create your own country.
Two starkly different stances on immigration. No translation lost here.
This is not immigration. This is an invasion.
Crossing more than a border between countries, this is a wall between cultures. An argument raging over immigrant rights in America. Thousands marched to the Capitol.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Go home and do something. You can march there. You have a large number. Go home and march. Muchachas, muchachos, you can do it.
This is ridiculous. They're the backbone of our country right now. You know, most of them are getting paid under the table, and they're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do.
Les pido un breve aplauso para él, por favor.
Es todo lo que queremos, igualdad. No queremos.
Rodolfo Ortiz left Mexico 14 years ago. He says, "We don't want more than anyone else. We just want equality."
Until you come in my country illegally, get your butt out. Go home to your own country. Take care of your own country.
I'm from El Salvador, Central America. The best people, there's a Spanish guy.
Oh, okay. So the best people are Spanish guys,
yes.
And the lowly Americans are what? Where are you from?
El Salvador.
Well, I like El Salvador. Me and my 100, 200 million people, we're going to go right down there, and we're going to take your jobs. How would you like that?
You need to go home. You're destroying our healthcare system. That's your attitude.
Es tu problema.
See, you're here illegally, and it's our problem, and we have to pay the bills. Go home.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 34.
Inside these file drawers at Grady Hospital, these envelopes hold DNA evidence from sexual attacks. Swabs from the victim's body, sometimes hair or fingernails. They're called rape kits. These are the keys to an investigation and the timely prosecution of a rape. We asked Grady's Rape Crisis Center staff to count the kits.
That there are about 100 adults and about 700 children.
700 children.
Kids.
Later, a Grady spokesperson amended those numbers to 247 adult kits and 295 child rape kits.
If the police department doesn't come to pick up the kid, doesn't mean that we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
This is where police officers drop off rape kits. The GBI will only accept submissions from law enforcement with an active investigation and a victim. The faster this chain of events occurs, the faster DNA can be processed and placed in a database of violent offenders.
So by putting it in the database and searching it, we can potentially find many other victims out there that has been assaulted by this same perpetrator.
This isn't the first time rape kits have piled up at Grady Hospital. Back in 2000, the hospital reported a backlog of 250 kits. The bulk of responsibility fell to the Atlanta Police Department because the majority of rape cases and evidence belong to Atlanta and Fulton County.
Things have changed dramatically in the fact that that was actually a different unit by a different name.
Now a new special victims unit is in place. So why are there hundreds of rape kits at Grady, untouched and unprocessed?
Once it's a day or two into the investigation and the story falls apart, they end up recanting, and then the rape kit will not go. They'll say, no, I'm sorry, I lied.
So are the majority of those kits simply unfounded cases where women and children made stories up? Due to privacy laws, Grady won't release that information.
We understand it's been a buildup for 10 years, and not just from the Atlanta area, but from the larger areas.
A decade of cases that did not make it to the crime lab for DNA processing. We went to Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard for answers.
From everything that we understood, that problem had been eliminated. As a result of you talking with me today, we're certainly going to look again to see whether or not that exists. I would be shocked if there is a child case that we're currently investigating and we've got a rape kit and it's sitting over at Grady Hospital.
Our investigation revealed a systemic breakdown with no clear accountability.
Well, I don't think the police can explain a pile up at Grady. I think you'd have to speak to the folks at Grady.
Our policy says that we could call the DA's office, but that's no guarantee that they're going to come and get them.
Those rape kits are not, my property. They're the property of the hospital.
There is no statute of limitations on DNA. That means 10-year-old cases in this pile of rape kits could be the missing link to solve other crimes or bring the peace of justice to rape victims who need closure to move on with their lives.